Sushant, could you just pass my phone? Alright, Hare Krishna. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are reading from the 4th canto, chapter 25, verse 29. So if you want, you can head to Vedabase on your phones. It's got all of the transcript for the verse that we'll be reading today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Sorry, so it's Veda based, that's Vedabase. So you can just look up the verse number, which is 4.25.29. We'll just do a call and response. Na samvaro Varor Vanyatama Bhuvispruk Nasam Varor Vanyatama Bhuvispruk Purim Imam Vira Varena Sakam Purim Imam Vira Varena Sakam Arhasya lankartum adabhra karmana Arhasya lankartum adabhra karmana Lokam param shri iva yagya pumsa Lokam param shri iva yagya pumsa Na samvaror vanyatama bhuvispruk Purim imam vira varena sakam Arhasya lankartum adabhra karmana Lokam param shri riva yagya pumsa Nasam varor vanyatama bhuvispruk Purim vam virana sakam Arhasi alankartum adabhra karmana Lokam param shri vayagya pumsa Okay, we'll just go to the word for word translation. Na, not. Asam, of these. Varoru, O most fortunate one. Anyatama, anyone. Bhuvi spruk, touching the ground. Purim, city. Imam, this. Viravarena, the great hero. Sakam, along with. Arhasi, you deserve. Alankartum, to decorate. Adabra, glorious. Karmana, whose activities. Lokam, world. Param, transcendental. Shri, the goddess of fortune. Iva, like. Yagyapumsa, with the enjoyer of all yagyas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation, please repeat after me. O greatly fortunate one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned, because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some woman of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who accompanied by Lord Viṣṇu, increases the beauty of the Vaikuṇṭha planets. Also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a powerful king on this planet. Purport. There is a difference between demoniac mentality and devotional mentality. Devotees know perfectly well that the goddess of fortune, who is the constant companion of Viṣṇu, or Narayan, cannot be enjoyed by a living entity. The highest sense of understanding is called Krishna consciousness. Nonetheless, everyone wants to become happy by imitating the prosperity of Narayan. In this verse, Puranjan states that the girl appears to be an ordinary woman. However, since he is attracted by her, he requests that she become happy as the goddess of fortune by associating with him. Thus he introduces himself as a great king with great influence, so that she might accept him as her husband and be as happy as the goddess of fortune. To desire to enjoy this material world as a subordinate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is godly. To desire to enjoy this material world as a subordinate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is godly. The demons, however, want to enjoy this material world without considering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the difference between a demon and a demigod. The word bhuvi spruk mentioned in this verse is very significant. When the demigods sometimes come to this planet, they do not touch the ground. Puranjana could understand that this girl did not belong to the transcendental world or the higher planetary system because her feet were touching the ground. Since every woman in this world wants her husband to be very influential, rich and powerful, Puranjana, to seduce the girl, introduced himself as such a personality. In the material world, whether one be a man or a woman, one wants to enjoy. A man wants to enjoy a beautiful woman, and a woman wants to enjoy a powerful, opulent man. Every living entity who possesses such material desires is called Purusha, an enjoyer. Specifically, it appears that the woman is the enjoyed and the man is the enjoyer, but internally, everyone is an enjoyer. Consequently, everything in this material world is called Maya. Alright, I'll just read the translation once more. Please hear. O greatly fortunate one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned, because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some woman of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who accompanied by Lord Viṣṇu, increases the beauty of the Vaikuṇṭha planets, also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a very powerful king on this planet. Okay, we'll just recite the Mangalacharan. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyaham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam today. It's a very beautiful book, maybe the most beautiful, Srimad, because it is non-different from the most beautiful person in the entire creation. The source of that creation, Krishna, is the most beautiful person. I was just reading a prayer recently by Aditi, so the mother of all the demigods. Kashyapa Muni is this very powerful Prajapati, so he's one of the first people that create the bodies which populate all of the material creation. And he's one of the original creators of those various bodies. And he had two wives, Diti and Aditi. So Aditi is the mother of all the demigods, or Adityas. And Diti is the mother of all the demons, or the Daityas. So Mother Aditi, she's in this distress because all of the demigods have disappeared. They've had to hide themselves because a very powerful demon king, Bali Maharaj, has come and basically conquered the kingdom of the demigods of Lord Indra. So she's in anxiety. All of her sons are now missing. So she asks Kashyapa Muni what to do, and he tells her to perform the Payavrata, right? So she only drinks milk. She only consumes milk for 12 days, nothing else. And she engages in very sincere and constant worship of the deity of Lord Viṣṇu. She distributes prasadam to everyone nearby, all the brahmanas, everyone. and as a result she really pleases Lord Viṣṇu. So he appears before her in a four-armed form, Lord Viṣṇu, and she offers this prayer. Maybe I have it here, I can actually read it out. Maybe. Yeah. She says, Yagyesha Yagya Purushachuta Tirthapada Tirthashvava Shravana Mangala Namadheya Apanna Loka Vrijinopa Modayadya Shamnak Kridhisha Bhagavan Asidina Natha. She says, O Master and enjoyer of all sacrifices, O infallible one, shelter of all holy places and all holy people, just hearing your name spreads all good fortune. Indeed, you appear to diminish the material suffering of the poor souls who surrender unto you. Please be kind to us and bestow your auspiciousness upon us, O Savior of the downtrodden. So in this state, she calls to Lord Viṣṇu, and he appears, and he gives her the blessing that he'll appear in her womb. So who appears in the womb of Mother Aditi? Vamanadev, very beautiful incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Krishna himself is named Krishna. She says here, Namadheya, that just hearing your name spreads all good fortune. One of Krishna's names is, of course, Krishna. And what does Krishna mean? That person who is supremely attractive. So later when we see Vamanadev appear, he again is offered various prayers. And one of them states that like the waves of the ocean are moving all of the branches and various like twigs and leaves which are found in the deep water, the waves of the ocean are moving them all out to sea. In the same way, Krishna is attracting everything in the universe. Right? So this book that we're reading, Srimad Bhagavatam, is a Purana, right? Very sacred scripture, and it is considered to be non-different from Krishna. So actually the verse that we just read, every syllable is like a part of the body of Krishna. And just hearing that spreads all good fortune for everyone who hears it. It said, Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pitopatapta Rasanasya Narochikanu. Just as one who is overcome with an accumulation of bile, right? This disease we know called jaundice is a disease of the liver, and the liver's function is to remove all of that secretion, that toxicity. But if the liver is failing and the body becomes filled with that bile, and the skin turns yellow, and the capacity of the tongue to taste anything sweet diminishes. So the cure for that, what is it? Kintvadarad anudinam kalushaiva jushtam swadvi kramad bhavati tadgaramul hantri. The cure for that disease is to take sweet candy, sugar candy. And you know that the cure has worked because that sugar will affect the liver, right? And kick it back into action. And you know that the sugar is working when you start getting the taste back for the sugar itself. So, interestingly, we've all come here to this material world to enjoy, as we were hearing in the purport. Srila Prabhupada was explaining that the living being thinks themselves the enjoyer, whether you're a man or a woman or anything in this material world. You think that I am the enjoyer, and everything here exists so that I can get some satisfaction out of it. We're constantly making plans for how to enjoy. And this is the mentality of the Purusha. So one who has developed this consciousness is actually understood to be demonic, right? Like a son of Diti. We have developed this quality that we should enjoy, and what that leads to is a lot of suffering. Following desires, it's explained, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that from meditation on the sense objects, one develops intense attachment, and from that attachment comes frustration. When we have a desire and it's fulfilled, the result is that we want more of that, so that is greed. But if that desire is not fulfilled, we get frustrated. So basically the guaranteed result of having any desire to enjoy as the Purusha is one of these two things, frustration or greed. But I was hearing from His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj that then a symptom or a result of frustration is the tendency to blame everyone else. I had this plan to enjoy, it was this flawless, perfect plan, and I had the capacity to achieve that enjoyment, but it failed. So someone must have gotten in the way. And if it's not another living entity, if it's not just the natural way of life, if it's not providence, then maybe it was Krishna. Maybe Krishna is my enemy and he's trying to make me suffer. Right? So this is the natural consequence of someone who's frustrated in their pursuit of enjoyment. Prabhupada mentioned earlier in the purport that there are two kinds of mentalities. So there is the mentality of this Purusha, demonic kind of, I'm enjoying and Krishna is getting in the way of that. And in the Bhagavad Gita we hear what the symptoms of one in that consciousness is. Dambo is pride, and Darpa is arrogance. So we develop this pride and this arrogance if we are successful in our enjoyment. Abhimanascha, we are very cruel. Krodha, we become angry. And Parusham, we become harsh in our dealings. Ajnana, we develop ignorance. We lose our spiritual intelligence and our intelligence for how to deal appropriately in situations. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, like when you get really frustrated with something, and it's a very simple task you have to do, but instead of just like using your intelligence, you just start, unleashing, this object, this, inanimate object is not cooperating with me, and so therefore I will unleash my anger on this inanimate object. And it's funny, you can even see videos of, I've seen some videos of, little birds, pigeons or parakeets or something like that, trying to get a blueberry out of a container, and every time they open the container first, halfway, and then they immediately go for the blueberry, and then the container closes on top of their head and they freak out, right? So they try again. Instead of opening the container lid fully, letting it fall to the other side and then enjoying the blueberries nicely, they get so frustrated with this container which keeps stopping them from enjoying the blueberries that they go crazy, right? And they kick the whole thing away. And they don't even get to enjoy a simple blueberry. So we can find ourselves like that pigeon sometimes, right? These are the qualities of someone who has developed a demonic mentality. But in contrast, we hear that there is also another kind of consciousness, which is one who develops a devotional mentality. Srila Prabhupada explains the contrast between the demonic mentality and the devotional mentality is that one, what did he say? He said that to desire to enjoy this material world as a subordinate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is godly. So still there is a desire to enjoy. The only difference is that one has understood their position as a subordinate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What's that verse? Yeah, basically some of the qualities of one who has developed that devotional mentality in their activities here in the material world is that they have become tolerant, patient. They have developed their intelligence, their spiritual intelligence. They have forgiveness. They are friendly to all other living beings. So these are some of the qualities who has developed a devotional mentality. And these are the qualities of the demigods. So we were hearing in the purport as well about how so Puranjana, who is basically like a fictional character. So at the moment, just for some context, we're hearing a story told by Narada Muni to one of his disciples to enlighten him about a particular piece of knowledge. So this story is centered around one character called Puranjana. So Pura means the city and the Jana is the person, So the person who is inside the city, and it's described that the city has 9 gates, right? So this is a symbol for one who is in the city of the body, which also has 9 gates, if you count like the eyes, the ears, the nostrils, and so on. So this Puranjana has come in contact with a woman, right, wandering through, and this woman represents the intelligence. So we were hearing here from Srila Prabhupada that every single living being, whether they're a man or a woman, has the self, which is the enjoyer, which is, represented by the man, and the intelligence, which is the woman. And so everyone is going through this mentality of enjoying. But we're hearing in this verse about, following on from the previous verse, so this Puranjana sees the woman and he basically trying to flirt with her and seduce her to operate under his desire, right? His desire to enjoy. He wants to attract this intelligence, this woman that he has come across. So he flatters her by describing her as beautiful as the goddess of fortune, or as beautiful as the consort of Lord Shiva, Uma Devi, or even as the consort of Lord Brahma, Saraswati Devi. So we're hearing in this verse how he says that, okay, this can't be true. You must be an ordinary human for me to enjoy, because your feet are touching the earth. Bhuvi spruk. Srila Prabhupada draws this word out of the verse. And it's understood that when a spiritual being, right, someone who is completely pure and aloof from the material world, comes to this planet, for example, like Lord Krishna appears, is explained that he has lotus feet. So we hear in the Bhagavad Gita that one who has developed transcendental consciousness becomes like a lotus flower, because though moving through the world, they are unaffected by the activities and the material modes which are moving through the world. In the same way, a lotus flower which is in the water is untouched by the water. So Lord Krishna, when he comes, his feet are described as lotus feet, because his feet do not even touch this material world. He remains completely aloof and uncontaminated. So, interestingly, I was just recently reading about Vamanadev, who appears, as we were just describing at the beginning of the class. It's explained that when he appears, he immediately heads out on his mission to, as promised to Mother Aditi, to give strength back to the demigods and challenge the demons. So he heads to the river Narmada, where Bali Maharaj is working with all the brahmanas, performing yajna to increase their power. And as he's walking, it's explained that the earth is becoming pushed down under the gravity of his feet. So Lord Vamanadev is simply a little dwarf, a dwarf brahmana. And he's just recently been born, so he's very young as well, a young brahmachari. But it's explained that Krishna is simultaneously lighter than the lightest and heavier than the heaviest. So those same lotus feet, which never even come in contact with the material world, are pushing down, depressing the earth, the surface of the earth as he's walking. So this is the inconceivability of the Supreme Lord. To look further into that difference in quality between a spiritual personality and a material personality, we can look at, we're talking Puranjana, right? This means the person who has accepted a material body so that they can enjoy. So when we take birth in this material world, it's explained that our material body is given to us according to the karma that we've done in previous lives. And so we are actually forced to take birth in a particular body which suits, first of all, our desires, and second of all, our qualification, based on the pious and impious deeds that we've done in the past. If you want to have a nice big house, but you haven't been behaving very properly, then maybe you can just be the lap dog that runs around the house, right? Or the servant in the house, in the big house. But if you've been doing lots of, Vedic yagyas or pious rituals, or giving lots of charity, being a good person, then that desire to have a nice big house, you might become the owner of the property in your next life. So in that way, our body is given to us according to both our desire and our qualification, based on our activities. But regardless, we are forced to take birth again and again. We do not have the qualification to become aloof from these material bodies and attain a spiritual body which is eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge, and completely free to travel wherever it desires. We are forced to take particular bodies based on those desires and those karmic reactions. In contrast, the Supreme Lord, when he appears, it's described that Vamanadev, there's this beautiful verse by Lord Brahma which he speaks to Vamanadev on his appearance. Namaste Prishni Garbhaya Veda Garbhaya Veda Se Trinabhaya Triprishtaya Shipi Vishtaya Vishnave. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the all-pervading Lord Viṣṇu, who have entered the hearts of all living beings. All the three worlds reside within your navel, yet you are above the three worlds. Right, so this is the inconceivability of the position of the Supreme Lord, that this entire universe has emanated from his own navel, right, upon which Lord Brahma is sitting on the lotus stem, which has emanated from the navel of Lord Viṣṇu, and yet he is completely beyond those three worlds. Further, he says that you are the essence which is pregnant within the Vedas, by which you can be known. So we hear in the Bhagavad Gita that Vedanta Krit Veda Chid Eva Videva Chaham, that Krishna is the essence of all the Vedas, right? So all of the Vedas, the purpose of them is to understand Krishna, and yet, so therefore he is like this essence within the Vedas, but only by the Vedas can Krishna be known. So he is also beyond the Vedas. So simultaneously within and without. He goes on that further, you appeared previously in the womb of Prishni, and now you have entered the womb of Mother Aditi. So I offer my obeisances unto you. So it's explained in that chapter that this appearance of the living force, the spiritual spark, which is the soul, in the material world is very complex, very nuanced. When one example is given of when two bamboo sticks rub together due to the wind blowing, there creates some friction. And because of the wind and the bamboo, a fire can start. But that fire itself is not actually it's not like a product of the wood itself. You can't take wood and out of that substance create fire. It's only by the friction between the wood that the fire emanates. So the fire is actually completely distinct from the wood and from the wind. But by this process of the wind and the wood, it appears that fire becomes manifest. So in the same way, when the two material bodies, come together and their bodily secretions, lead to another material body developing, we should understand that the appearance of life is completely aloof from those bodily secretions, which are creating life. And so one who accepts the material body, the spiritual spark which is eternal, the self, the consciousness, although becoming manifest, is not a consequence of material elements combining together. And in the same way, the Supreme Lord, in a different way, the Supreme Lord who doesn't accept any material body, we need to understand that when he seems to appear, even from the womb of a living being, no material body is actually being manifest, and it is simply the eternal Supreme Lord. We hear in the Brahma Samhita that Advaitam Achutam Anadir Anantarupam Adyam Puranam Purusham Navayovanam Cha. So Advaitam means non-dual, right? Non-different. Krishna has unlimited Ananta Rupam, unlimited forms. He has constant manifestation of millions and trillions of different forms. Yet all of them are the same person, the same Supreme Person. And they are all filled with unlimited potencies. So the Supreme Lord is eternally manifest, eternally present with all of his unlimited forms. This is like such an inconceivable thing to think about. But if we can try to use our spiritual intelligence to understand this very subtle difference between the appearance of a materially conditioned living being in this world and the Supreme Lord, if we can look at these examples in the pastimes and the activities of the Supreme Lord and try to distinguish the difference between Krishna's appearing in this world and a living being who is limited like us appearing in this material world, Krishna says that one who understands that, right, janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti sorjana. One who understands the transcendental divyam nature of my janma, my birth, they never again have to come back to this material world. Just by understanding that, one becomes completely freed from having to take a material body. Right? So it's a very difficult subject matter to get our heads around, but the result, if we can put our effort into understanding this, then one achieves the desired result of going back to the spiritual world and never being forced to come into this city of 9 gates, right, where one is forced to associate with materialistic intelligence, develop desires, greed, frustration, all of these things that we've discussed so far. And what is the best way to approach understanding that very inconceivable spiritual knowledge? Krishna also gives the solution for that in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Bhaktya mam nabijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. So if one wants to understand me in truth, tattvataha, they should just perform bhakti. So Krishna gives many different instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. He explains many different processes of yoga. There must be like 7 or so. I haven't actually counted them, but there's many. Sankhya yoga is there, Hatha yoga is there, Karma yoga is there, Jnana yoga is there, Dhyana yoga is there. Sequentially, he goes through all of these different processes, and he even spends much time on pranayama, explaining to Arjuna, the process of breathing. But he says that Maya Sakta Manapartha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayaha. One who has understood with concentrated fixed intelligence these various different processes of yoga, Yogam Yunjan Madashrayaha, Asamshayam Samagram Mam. They become free from all doubt. Right? All confusion is gone. And Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yata Gyasyasi Tachranu. They are fixed in hearing about me, and they develop this causeless knowledge. So just by hearing, which is itself a form of devotional service, bhakti, one develops this transcendental knowledge. One who tries as well to study these books using their intelligence is also, Krishna explains, is worshipping Krishna by their intelligence, right? So devotional service is very rare opportunity. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. The result of this Bhakti Yoga is Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. Knowledge and renunciation. Perfect. Thank you. These are the 2 children that come from devotional service, right? The 2 symptoms of devotional service. Knowledge, not just any knowledge, but jnana haituki, right? Causeless, transcendental knowledge. And vairagyam, detachment from the material world. So these 2 things are what elevate us to that platform to be able to be aloof from accepting these material bodies which we're all trapped in. So if there are any questions about that, we can discuss a little further, but I think we can leave it there for today. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Shri Gopinath Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanandi.